All right, YouTube, here's our lights. We've got these low profile LED lights that I bought a bunch of for $35 off of the famous website where you get Chinese stuff. And I'm going to test them out now. You get these junction boxes, and I think there's a transformer in there of some kind. And then there's a plug-in thing that plugs in right here. And once you manage to meet that up properly, if you're lucky, if you manage to meet that up properly, we are going to test this guy out and see if it'll work. Now, oh, actually, no, we're not yet, because I've got it wired up wrong. What I'm going to do is wire it up to this thing and plug it in down here in my power strip. The question of the day is, is there any required polarity? Do I need to keep black with black and white with white? The second question of the day, do I really need this little ground wire that's down in there? According to the available literature that I looked on the internet before I ordered these things, all it takes is 18 gauge wire. And that's what I bought. And that's when I strung in my ceiling up here. So that's already wired up. So I would prefer strongly not to have to rewire these. But I might. So we're going to have to see in a second. All right, we're wired up. We're cool. This thing's hooked up. We're good. I'm going to plug this in and see if it works. And I'm declaring light up the night sky, which is exactly what I wanted. Now here's the next question of the day is, does it matter whether I reverse these because of the polarity? Now we're going to find out. If I were to make an educated guess, not really that much educated, I would guess that it doesn't make squat for difference. But just to be sure, before I get them all put up, we're going to test it. I'm going to reverse the black and white, see if that damn thing still works. Which, like I said, I suspect strongly that it still will. And if it does, I can be a lot more laid back on how I wire these things up when I get around to cutting the holes. Which is probably going to have to happen tomorrow-ish. This isn't all that complicated. What happens is when I get ready to do this for real, I'm going to run the wire through this little notch here and kind of do it up and shut that thing. All right, here we go. Whack, still works. Good news for me. I don't have to rewire it, I don't think. I'm still not convinced that ground wire needs anything in this particular case, so I'm calling it cool. All right, that's all for now. All right, this is what happened. I laid out my spots for my lights. I made them an equal distance from that wall, an equal distance from that wall there. And they're also an equal distance from this center of this thing here, which is going to be some nice little fan. My counter is going to come out about 25 inches. So that'll be over the working area. And back in here where I'm going to have my desk and my TV studio, I'm going to have one there and one there. So I've got a package of 6. And in a little while I'm going to cut the holes. I had to install one piece of this drywall on this section. I used the same method I used before with the T-bar thing. So that's what we're about. Other than that, that's what it looks like. I'm actually starting to work on the floor a little bit to try to get some of the rough stuff off the floor before I decide finally what to do with it. My inclination at the moment is to try to stain it, which should look cool. All right, we're going to try to wire in 1 or 2 of these lights just to see what happens. Just for the pure joy of it. It's raining outside, it's too wet to do drywall. We'll do this one first because it's the easiest one. I'm going to put it right there where the X is. They provided this template here, by the way, which is kind of funny because of the dots not in the center. That right there is in the center. Would that take 5 minutes? About 5 minutes. I'll see you in a few more minutes when I get the rest of these done. You remember the other day I forgot to tell you. Okay, the end one is just the end one, so that's one thing. But this thing here, you remember when I ran this, I actually tied knots roughly where I thought the light was going to go, so that when I could pull it down, I would be able to do it, cut the wire, connect all the lines together and all that, because there has to be an input and an output on anything but the end one. So that's what happened. That's cool if this thing falls off. I'm making sure that I send it through the little hole before I hook it up. I'm going to do the white one. There it is, wired into the central wire. There's going to be a fan sticking in there at some point. My lights are all lined up, ready to go. Here's the switch. This is counter-indicated by the safety protocol and all that, but we did it anyway. Here we go. Yes. All right, I'm going to hook this wire into the back of this outlet. One of the failure modes is not turning the power off, which will cause me a lot of problems, except for when I turn the power off, it's going to get dark, except for this little lamp here. It won't be so dark. It'll all be cool. I might get spunky and shorten this one here, because I did this the other day and it's too long. I think I'll cut both of them off and make them so that they're right. Once in a great while in a project, I'll do stuff that's right. All right, we're going to shut off the power.